The latest in our series Streamlined, where we bring you some of the biggest films and TV series hitting digital screens worldwide. Speaking with some of the actors and creators behind them, tonight we've been mesmerized by her work, from the cult classic Modern Romance to her Oscar-winning performance in 2014's Boyhood. In a wide-ranging interview, Patricia Arquette sat down with our Phil Lipof to talk about her starring role in the new Apple series High Desert, how she prepares for her role in the critically acclaimed series Severance, and what directing teaches her about acting.
As you can see, it's a really great neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, it's a great
The
market.
house has great bones.
The character you play, Peggy, there are other characters in other shows right now, this kind of dark comedy, or at least people, flawed human beings that give an audience the reason to like them. Does it resonate with you when you're looking at a script and a character like Peggy?
Well, part of what I responded was I thought it was kind of a counterculture comedy. There's a little punk rock edge running through it. I do think people are complicated, and we have light parts and dark parts, and especially people like Peggy who are struggling with their own issues. You know, they don't really want to look at their own pain, so they kind of create a cyclone around them so they really don't have to stop and look at what that pain is.
Some reviewers have said it's a wacky tour de force, comedy, a whodunit, also, you know, a lot of heart. I think the heart comes from many places, but Peggy primarily. What's it like playing the character?
It's really fun. I mean, she's constantly sizing up the room, seeing what's going on. How could she get something out of it?
When I had money, we all had money.
From dealing drugs.
It was a little pot, maybe some hash.
There was cocaine.
Well, that was much later, and I did it. I didn't sell it.
Oh, wow.
Okay, calm down.
She's also collecting all these kind of broken bird people who are weaker than her in a way. So she's got this sort of motherly protection feeling over a lot of people, although she shouldn't really be in that position because she is a disaster. So it's this, you know, but they're a little more vulnerable than she is.
She's struggling with addiction, and then she decides to be a PI. That's kind of a hard turn. Was that something that attracted you to the script too?
Yeah, well, it was loosely based on one of our writers, Nancy Fitchman's sister, Marjorie, who struggled with addiction issues, and also said to her at one point, you know, I think I'm going to be a PI. And she thought, well, that's crazy, but it's actually the most sane thing you've ever said, because you'd probably be pretty good. There's something about addicts and their hustle and the way they try to get their needs met that kind of makes sense for a PI.
Why, with comedy, why do you think comedy is important in a show like this?
I feel like comedy, and we're this weird animal that laughs. I mean, that's weird, right? There's not a lot of creatures that use humor as a survival mechanism, as a bonding mechanism. And I think for a lot of families, comedy is something that they share. It's a shared language. Humor has helped us out a lot from our darkest moments.
Let's talk about Severance for a minute, because it's been picked up. I think it's such a fascinating premise. You know, how many times have you said to yourself, I'm going to leave work at work, you know, I'm not going to bring my personal issues to work. This just takes it to another level. This is just next level stuff.
It's funny when you say that, because my work is the opposite. Acting, you actually have to take, or many people, their process is to take their home into their work. You might have a scene where you're crying, and you might remember when your mom died, and that might help you cry. So you're constantly bringing your work home. We learn our lines at home. Our work doesn't really stop. There's a blur in all of these things.
What's it like to play that character?
It's funny. I mean, it's so confined and strict, and the opposite of Peggy in High Desert. It's structurally, even visually, the way that it looks, the composition of the shots. I confer upon you the advanced role of department chief. Congratulations. A handshake is available upon request.
Thank you. May I have a handshake?
Is it weird playing those two characters so close together?
It's actually really great to do that, you know, just to like, okay, that clearly goes into the Cobell category. This over here is this whole different tone, voice, timing, you know, energy pattern, expression. Peggy holds nothing back, and Cobell holds everything back.
It's like a ball full of emotion and then emotionless.
Yeah, it's like chaos, wildness, and then just strict structure.
As an actor, is one easier to play for you than the other?
Peggy was a lot of fun to play, I'll say that about her. And also all the actors we have, Brad Garrett and Bernadette Peters and Rupert Friend and Christine Taylor and Keir. Eric, I mean, the hardest thing really was not laughing in the middle of the take.
What are you supposed to be?
A real PI, what are you playing at?
I'm not hiring.
I'm a natural detective. You need me, and I need this job.
Be here Monday morning at 9 a.m.
I don't get up before 11.
As a director, I mean, you love acting. You're so good at it. And now all of a sudden you're directing actors. Do you think actors direct differently than directors who haven't acted?
Well, the things that I thought would be easy as a director weren't necessarily. Like the language, everyone still has their own language they need. Each actor has their own process, but I did feel that I was able to edit the movie specifically around acting. That's all I cared about. I was gonna edit completely to performances. And that I feel really proud of. Because I don't know that even my own performances, that it's always been strictly that. It's served many different things, and sometimes, you know, your performance is not as great as it could have been because of that. But with them, I really just wanted to really edit for them.
Our thanks to Phil and Patricia Arquette for that conversation.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.